Yashodanandana Jaya Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Bol. Before starting, I want to express how much grateful and honored I'm to be with all of you. I know most of you are great scholars, so I need your blessing. It's actually a verse about the creation, about time. It's a very technical subject. I'm sure I would rather listen to you. And I want also to express how beautiful is actually Bhaktivedanta manner. I just came after, I don't remember, maybe 2 years, and it's overwhelming. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to take care of Srila Prabhupada's manner. It's a place of shelter, of inspiration. So thank you very, very much. So it's going to be 2 verses. We will repeat the second one. This one, it's a meter quite long. Is somebody very expert in reading the long meters like that? Is somebody very good in chanting that kind of verse? Any Prabhus, any ladies? Who wants to? You, okay, Prabhuji, okay. First we will do the invocation and you will sing. So all together. Om Adkana Timilandasya Gyanam Janam Salakaya Shaksul Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pashadi Sashunya Vadi Pashatya Del Shataline Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the third canto, chapter 11, calculation of time from the atom, verse 15 and 16, and Prabhu will chant verse 15.
Pumso Brahmaya Dividavati Bhuta Bodha.
Pumso Brahmanya Dividavati Bhuta Veda.
Kalakyaya Gunamayam Kratubir Vitanvam.
Kalakyaya Gunayam Kratubir Vitanvam.
Tasmai Balim Harata Vatsara Panchakaya.
Tasmai Balin Arata Vatsara Panchakaya. Anybody else? Any Prabhus wants to read the verse? Ya Shri Shakti Muludosha Svakshaktya. Brumsho Brahmanya Divida Vatibhuta Veda. Tasmai Balin Arata Vatsalya Panchakaya. Any Vaishnavis? Ya Shri Shaktim Uludot Shasayam Svaksakyam. Pumsho Brahmaya Divida Vatibhuta Veda. Kala Kaya Gunamayam Klatubil Vitam Svam. Tasmai Balim Aratavat Panchakiyam. So we go to the synonym. Yaha, one who, Shrijya, of creation, Shaktim, the seeds, Urada, in various ways, Uchavasayan, invigorating, Svashaktya, by his own energy, Pumsaha, of the living entity, Abhramaya, to dissipate darkness, Divi, during the daytime, Davati, moves, Bhutabeda, distinct from all other material form. Kala Akyaya, by the name eternal time. Gunamayam, the material results. Kratubir, by offerings. Vitanvan, enlarging. Tasmai, unto him. Balim, ingredients of offerings. Harata, one should offer. Vatsara Panchakaya, offerings every 5 years. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Vidura, the sun enlivens all living entities with its unlimited heat and light. It diminishes the duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment. And he enlarges the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom. He thus moves in the firmament with great velocity, and therefore everyone should offer him respects once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship. And we will read the next verse. This verse has a purport. Vidura uvacha Pritideva manusyanam Ayuparam idasmritam Parisham gatim akshakshva Yesu kalpad bahil vidaha. Synonyms. Vidura uvacha. Vidura said, Piti, the Pitta planets. Deva, the heavenly planets. Manushyanam, and that of the human beings. Ayu, duration of life. Param, final. Idam, in their own measurement. Smritam, calculated. Parisham, of the superior living entities. Gatim, duration of life. Ashakshva, kindly calculate. Ye, all those who. See you are kalpat, from the millennium. Bahir, outside. Vidha, greatly learned. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Vidura said, I now understand the life durations of the residents of the Pitta planets and heavenly planets, as well as that of the human beings. Now, kindly inform me of the durations of life of those greatly learned living entities who are beyond the range of a kalpa. Purport by His Divine Grace. The partial dissolution of the universe that takes place at the end of Brahma's day does not affect all the planetary systems. The planets of the highly learned living entities, like the sages Sanaka and Brigu, are not affected by the dissolutions of the millenniums. All the planets are of different types, and each is controlled by a different Kala chakra, or schedule of eternal time. The time of the Earth planet is not applicable to other more elevated planets. Therefore, Vidura herein inquires about the duration of life on other planets. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, dear devotees, we can see that this is a very technical chapter. And I want to start with something that's not really applicable completely to the verse. It's a lila of Srila Prabhupada. And it's very interesting. On one way, we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is such an elaborate explanation of the cosmic manifestation of the creation in every detail, such a very scientific process. And on the other way, we are going to see a Lila of Prabhupada, how he answers to some questions. And one of the questions in that Lila we will see is related to the manifestation, the cosmic manifestation of this material world. So although Prabhupada has so much knowledge, we will see how he can answer according to the people he's addressing. And then we will go really into the verse. So maybe some of you know that pastime. It's the pastime of Srila Prabhupada and Joe Pine. Who knows that pastime? Yeah. Prabhupada has a great sense of humor, and he knows actually how to never lose, to mention the right argument. So Joe Pine, I think it was in America, he had a radio show. And he was actually very mean to the people he would receive on the radio show. He would receive celebrities, politicians, all kinds of famous people. And what he loved to do, and the audience loved it, he would smash the people to a pulp. And he was very unceremonious. He had no mercy. He was very harsh. And even he had indecent criticism. He behaved like a boxer in the ring. And he was delivering blow after blow to win the fight by a knockout. So the devotees, Prabhupada was invited to that Joe Pine show. And the devotees begged Srila Prabhupada, please don't go, Prabhupada, don't go. And Prabhupada raised his eyebrows. He didn't have any hesitation, and he said, I'm going to the show. So Joe Pine began the conversation with the anticipation of being very brutal. He was very inspired. It says that he had the impudence of a former Marine, US Marine, and he had a sharp journalistic mind. And of course, he had the support of the public. And always, he was victorious. So he started. Why should we listen to a representative of another religion? Why is some representative from India going to teach us religion? Especially in India, where the mortality rate is much higher than in Western countries. So it starts you can see, very sharply. And Prabhupada, very slowly, very carefully, is pronouncing every word. He said, the mortality rate is the same everywhere, 100%. So Joe is posing. He's not used to such, answer. And after thinking, that's where it is related to our verse. After thinking, he's asking, your religion is actually teaching that the earth is flat. So Prabhupada, he did not expand on the concept of speed, of space, and time, like in this verse. He didn't explain the complex Vedic cosmology ideas. And he says, wherever I go, it is flat. Joe Pine is posing for too long And to prevent the pause to drag on, there is a nice lady, assistant, she's coming in. And she takes the microphone and in a very wise voice, she's asking, why do you shave your head bald? So Prabhupada answers very quickly, why do you shave your legs? It is much better to keep your legs warm and your head cold. If you keep your feet warm, and if you don't wear a short skirt, then the heads of the men will be cold. He said, feet warm, head cold. So Chopin comes to his senses, and he's asking, he says, but what will happen if everyone in the world becomes Krishnite like you? Prabhupada says, don't worry, there will always be fool like you. We won't ever want to hear about this. So Chopin was silent. The assistant was silent. And Prabhupada began to give the message to the American listener of the With Chopin program. So that verse in this chapter made me remember that very nice story. How Prabhupada, although he knew perfectly the whole cosmic manifestation, and he could direct actually what happened, the planetary system being depicted in Mayapur, how he could answer people according to their mentality. So we can see that this verse, it's actually a meditation on time. So together we are going to meditate upon time. Time is very fascinating. But from the first verse, 15, it's talking also about the material creation. So we're going to read about the purpose of the material creation. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, also, 3rd canto, chapter 5, verse 24. So in this verse, it is actually saying that, my computer is very rebellious, that the Lord is actually the proprietor of everything, and He is the only seer. And although Krishna is the only seer, in the beginning, the cosmic manifestation was not present. And the Lord felt imperfect, without His plenary and His separated parts and parcel. The material energy was dormant, sleeping. Only the internal potency was manifested. So why do we say that He's the supreme seer? It's because only by His glance the material energy can become active for the cosmic manifestation to be manifested. Then the Lord felt insufficient. And Prabhupada in the purport is using a very nice example. He says, it is like her husband is feeling lonely in the absence of his wife. The Lord wanted to create the cosmic manifestation, and what was the purpose of this cosmic material manifestation? May I ask you, what is the real purpose of this creation?
To help the conditioned souls go back to God.
Absolutely. That's the real purpose of this very complex manifestation, very caring manifestation. Actually, as Prabhu says, he wants to give a chance to the conditioned soul because they are in forgetfulness. And he's so kind that he feels when they are actually sleeping in the material illusion, he feels incomplete. He is missing something. So he's creating all this material manifestation. And again, Prabhupada gives the example that's the compassion of the Lord for the sleeping conditioned soul. He wants to awaken them, to bring them to Vaikuntha. So we're going to meditate on time. We will talk first about time in the material world, and after we will talk about time in the spiritual world. So in that verse, Vidura wants to understand the duration of time on the other planets. How can it be measured? And we know it can be measured differently. For example, on this earth, we have our seconds, we have our minutes, our days, our months and years, etc. And you know that on the other planets, time is calculated differently. For example, one of our years is equal to only 24 hours on many of the upper planets. There is another measurement, although the principle is the same everywhere, but it is measured differently. So one aspect of time we can see is that time is a destroyer. Krishna is using time to control the material creation. And the force of time is very, very strong. Everything is being destroyed by something or somebody else. Just like we can see in nature. Nature seems very beautiful, but it's quite cruel. One animal is actually the food for another one. So time is actually scattering everything. Exactly, if we look at the sky, as the wind is scattering the clouds. So it's definitely a destroyer. Do you know Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb? When he actually saw the first experiment of the atomic bomb, immediately in his mind came a verse from Bhagavad Gita. That verse, chapter 11, verse 32, when Krishna says, "Time I am, destroyer of the world, and I've come to engage everyone." So Krishna says that in due course of time, for example, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, most of the soldiers from both sides will be slain. He's explaining then that to Arjuna, because Arjuna, you remember, was hesitating so much. He didn't want to kill his kinsmen. So Krishna presents himself in the form of all-devouring time. And we can see amongst all the killers, time is the ultimate one. Nobody can escape time in the form of death. There is a story of a villager in India. He went to the village and he saw death coming to him. Just he saw death. And he started to run and run. He wanted to escape death. So he thought he was successful. He escaped death. Then he went to a far, far away village, and next day, death again. He said, "But why are you here? I escaped you." And Death replied, "Actually, when you saw me yesterday, it was not the proper time. It was not the proper place. But today is the proper place. Today is the proper time." So this is illustrated also in the story of Gajendra, the elephant. You remember the story of Gajendra? He was the king of the elephant, And it was a very, very beautiful day, sunny. He was actually with all his friends and wives and family. And everything was very, very peaceful and beautiful. Like sometime in our life, we have such moments. But as soon as he came in the river, he was attacked by the crocodile, a very powerful crocodile. And there was a big, big fight. Both of them were very powerful. But the crocodile was in his element. He could fight, and at the same time he could eat. He could breathe very nicely. Then he became more powerful. And Gajendra actually was losing all strength. So first, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Shishri Vadakukulananda Kichai, Shishri Lakshman Sitaram Hanuman Kichai, Hare. So he was losing his strength. First, he tried to depend on his own strength. Then he looked at his friends and he looked at his wives, and the wives were just crying. Nobody could do anything. And then he understood he just had to rely on Krishna. He remembered the prayer from his last life. I think he was Indradyumna in his past life. So we can see that the crocodile is actually representing time. And Gajendra is actually addressing a beautiful prayer to Lord Krishna. He said, he's explaining that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not known to everyone, but is very powerful and influential. Therefore, although the serpent of eternal time, which is fearful in force, is endlessly chasing everyone and is ready to swallow everyone, if one fears the serpent of time but seeks shelter of the Lord will give protection. Because even death personified is afraid of the Lord. And then Gajendra the elephant is surrendering fully to Krishna, to the powerful personality of Godhead. So it's not only Gajendra who should be afraid of death. All of us, we should be very careful not to, when times comes, to be caught by the crocodile of eternal time, because we may die at any moment. So we have to take shelter of Krishna. So we understand that everything and everyone is under the limits of time. But time moves under the direction of the Lord. Is the only one who is not in this material world, who is not within the limits of time. So another point about time is precious. Our dear Radhanath Swami is talking sometime about the most precious things. So what things are the most precious, would you say? Not the one who heard Radhanath Swami. Oh yes, for sure. What else? Time, yes. Actually, Maharaj was explaining, and I remember the first time I heard him speaking about that, he was actually addressing very, very wealthy young people. They were the sons and daughters of the Lord. It was in England. And he was explaining that the most precious things are the things that cannot be bought by money. It can be time, association of devotees, it can be love, true love, true friendship, something you cannot buy with money, are very, very precious. And Prabhupada gives often the example of very wealthy people sick in the hospital and coming near death. And they are begging the doctor, give me one more month, give me one more week, one more day. I have to finish this thing, it's so important. But it's completely impossible. We cannot even buy one moment. So that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are very nice verses saying that our time should be used by hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord and the name of the Lord. The ears, they don't hear about the glories of the Lord. They are compared to the ears of the snake, yeah. And then we should really use this time. So what materialistic people are doing with their time? There was a very nice analysis of dear Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He said, and it's true, that most of the people, when you want to tell them about Krishna consciousness, about the urgency of spiritual life, or when you distribute books in the streets, they rush, they look very important, and they say, I have no time. So what do they do with their time? Because we have the same time. So, for example, there was a survey made in America, but it's actually the same in Europe. It says that when a human being is reaching the age of 70 years, maybe he has spent 10 years working, in the office, or just at work. He has spent 10 years in working. And do you know how many years he spent in sleeping?
16?
Yeah, 23? 23 years in sleeping. And in reading and study, 6 years. And in eating and grooming, 11 years. And to do little things, 7 years. So if somebody saves 20 minutes a day from all these activities, any of these activities, when he's 70, he will have an extra year added to his life. So it's not that we don't have any time. It's just a matter how we are using time. So Krishna, as a feature of eternal time, is present. Time is present in the material world, and it's actually neutral to everyone. It's nobody friend, and it's no one enemy. And everybody, within the jurisdiction of all these elements, the time element will suffer or enjoy the results of the karma. So, Lord Shiva also is speaking, you know that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the song of Lord Shiva. So if you want to look at it, it's also about time. He's explaining that the absolute authority of the Lord can be experienced not directly, but seeing that everything is destroyed in due course of time. So let's see. Yeah, and Prabhupada in the purport is actually talking about the foolish scientists who want actually to destroy the power of time. They want to make things permanent. Some scientists, at one point, many years ago, were actually inventing a kind of a freezing process. So people like Walt Disney, they paid a lot of money to be put in this freezing machine. And when the cure for their disease would come, they would be woken up. You know, they are trying, but it's impossible. And Prabhu was talking about the frogs. Actually, we all have witnessed frogs, I wouldn't say singing, but screaming very joyfully. But they don't know that this joyful screaming will actually call for the snake to devour them. Again, it's the snake of time. So, now, so let's see what Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedic literature are again saying about time. It says that it's a force that makes everything change and wither. And it's that, first, it's that energy that puts the whole cosmic manifestation, material manifestation, into motion. And the influence of time will create all the transformations. It will create and destroy all material objects. We can see how hard it is to maintain something because of the force of destruction of time. Because of time, everything has a beginning, everything has an end. Just like the universe itself. So also we can see that time can be perceived by people according to the modes of nature, to the guna. So in Tamagun, how somebody will see time? What aspect of time is interesting the people in Tamagudi? Yeah, but which part of time? Nighttime. And it will be also people who are in very deep Tamagun, they are more living in the past. You know, they cannot see the future. They don't realize their present. They're completely in ignorance. But they have reminiscences of the past. What about the people in Rajagun? Future. I don't know if you know a French writer called Jean de La Fontaine. Somebody know? From the past. He wrote some, what we call in French, fable. Some little story, and there is a moral at the end. You know, like with the animals, Aesop, or Panchatantra also. So that's a little story of a village girl in France called Perrette. And she just was milking the cow, and she carries a pot on her head to go to the market. And she's dreaming, oh, I'm going to get some money, and when I get, like a good Vaisha, when I get this money, I will buy that. And with that, I will get more products, and I will buy more things. And at the end, she sees herself with not a little straw house, but a beautiful house. But while she's dreaming of that beautiful future, she didn't see a stone. And she's bumping into the stone, and the pot of milk is falling on the floor. So that's people in Rajaguna. They dream of the future. And in Sattva Guna, which aspect of time do people deal with? The present. And there is a beautiful poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. it's addressed to Suragri Vaishnav soul. It starts like that. O Suragri Vaishnav soul, doat an angel fair. So it says, forget the past that sleeps, and never the future dream at all, but act with thee and with the present, and progress thou shall call. You know, it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now we are going to speak of time in the spiritual world. We can say that in the spiritual world, time is eternal present. But you can tell me, but still in the spiritual world, Krishna goes to sleep, etc. So what is time in the spiritual world? I'm asking you. What is time? Prabhuji? Sorry?
Time doesn't destroy anything.
Right, very good. Yeah. Time doesn't destroy anything. What else?
Eternal, no beginning and no end.
Yeah, no beginning, no end.
Well, like in service to enhance the pastimes.
Yes, yeah. Like Prabhu first said, time doesn't destroy anything. And time is actually, as you said, that is actually time is used for the lila, for the adventures, for the lila. It gives some sweetness for Krishna lila.
There is no past, so they don't remember what was happening in the moment.
They remember, but it's eternal present. You know, like for example, when we can read in Krishna book, when they feel separation from Krishna, they remember if Krishna is not here, near them, they remember the past when Krishna was there, how he was dancing, how he was smiling, how he was looking, but it becomes eternal present. So I'm going to, I don't know until what time is the class, usually. 8:30? No? Do I have a few more minutes? I want to illustrate eternal time. And it's a beautiful, beautiful illustration. Actually, I was in Chopati, the Shishirada Radha Gopinath temple, and every year there is a presentation of drama. And one drama was, they're all wonderful, but this one was very powerful. It was illustrating eternal present. So that's the story of King Kurushekar. You know King Kurushekar. So Kurushekar, you know, was a wonderful devotee. And he became more and more absorbed in the pastime of Lord Sitaram. He became so absorbed, he wanted to give up the kingdom. And the ministers begged him, oh, please don't. Everybody loved King Kurushekar. He was such a great king. And they said, don't give up the kingdom. We are going to bring a wonderful Brahmana. And every day, for many hours, he's going to read to you the Ramayana. So King Kurushekar agreed. Then the Brahmana came, and he started to read all the adventures in the Ramayana. And at one point, it came to one pastime when Lord Ramachandra was actually fighting the demons. Immediately, King Kurushekar got up from his seat, and he started to call, ministers, please gather the army. We have to help Lord Ramachandra. And the ministers looked at him, but my king, it's in the story. It's not for real. No, you don't understand anything, ministers. Just bring the army. So they had to bring the army, and it cost a lot of money. And after they talked between themselves, and they called the Brahmana. They said, now when you will read Ramayana, if there is something very bad happening, you don't read it. You just read everything good. So the Brahmana agreed. And but then came the wedding of Sitaram. And then the King Kulashekar again got up from his throne. Brahmana, no, he called Brahmana and ministers. You have to go, you have to open the treasure house of the kingdom. You have to give everybody jewels, grain, clothes. And the ministers again, but it's in the story, my king. No, everybody should be fed very opulently. And so they did. But, and they decided it was better to give people, gold and things like that, than to actually call the army. And many times the king was saying, open the treasure house, feed everyone, and even the people were getting fed up. They had too much gold, too much jewels, too much beautiful dresses. They didn't care anymore. But what to do? So one time, the old Brahmana had to go to his village. And there was a death or something. And he called his son, the young Brahmana. He said, you're going to replace me. You're going to read to King Kulashekar the Ramayana. And he said, there is something I have to tell you, but I forgot what it is. What it is. I have to tell you something, but I can't remember. He said, never mind, just read the Ramayana and I will come very soon back. So the young Brahmana, he reads very nicely the Ramayana, but then he comes to the story when Sita has been kidnapped by Ravana and taken to Sri Lanka. So the king just jumps, and ministers, we have to help Lord Rama to rescue Sita. We have to cross the ocean. And then they don't know what to do. Again, they say, my lord, it's in the story. No, we have to help. We have to help Lord Rama. Then they have no arguments. So the whole army is called, and they walk near to the ocean. And everybody feels so sorry because King Kulashekar is a real kshatriya. He's in front with his sword. And he starts walking in the water. And everybody sees that he's going to die. Nobody's following him. And he goes and the water comes up and up and up. And he still goes, he wants to rescue Mother Sita. And then he's going to die. And all of a sudden, Mother Sita with Lord Rama, Lakshman and Hanuman, they appear to him from the water. And they express how they love him, how they are impressed by his devotion. And they said, do not worry. Already Lord Rama has rescued me, but we are so pleased with you. So that was the example of eternal present for a devotee. Very beautiful how King Kulashekar was living this pastime in the eternal present, so much so that the Lord, with his associates and Mother Sita, appeared to him. So, dear devotees, I thank you very much, for this opportunity to share with you the beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. Time is already up, but if somebody wants to share anything, you are welcome. And if anybody has to go, you are welcome also. Or maybe it's time. I let you decide. Please share. Yeah, Mike.
It's the Prayers for Peace by St. Francis of Assisi. And his final conclusion, he talks about how it is in forgiving, it is, if we forgive, we can be forgiven. But if we can't forgive, it will go away. But his final statement was, it is in death that we are born again into eternal life.
Jai, Haribol, Haribol. Prabhuji, can we have the mic for Prabhu?
Just to say that in the Srimad Bhagavatam it speaks about the world being round as well, that the interviewer had a misinterpretation, but the world is round. That's what the Srimad Bhagavatam says.
Haribol, 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 Prabhuji. So I think it's time now to wish everybody a wonderful Krishna Conscious Day, very happy spiritual moments. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Oh, sorry, just one last thing about time. One time, Prabhupada was talking with a devotee, and he said, you have something that I don't have. And the devotee said, it's not possible, Srila Prabhupada, that I have something you don't have. And after some time, Prabhupada said, the future. So all of you, you are Prabhupada's future. Haribol. Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavide, Ki Jai.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta